rich multicultural nations who come together to preserve peace, stability, and economic prosperity in the region. The ASEAN continues to grow, bridging more people, especially migrant workers, to opportunities that can change their lives for the better. Every year, millions of ASEAN people leave their families to work in places far from home. In 2020, 7.1 million individuals migrated within Southeast Asia, with half of these numbers being women working in agriculture, fishery, manufacturing, plantations, construction, households, healthcare, and many more. Recognizing the important contribution of migrant workers, ASEAN member states signed the ASEAN Consensus on the Protection and Promotion of the Rights of Migrant Workers in 2017 to establish a framework for cooperation across the community. Despite the collective efforts of each country, labor migration in ASEAN is still beset with challenges that put to risk the lives of migrant workers, most especially women working in sectors and occupations which make them vulnerable to abuse and exploitation, violence and harassment in the world of work. Change is possible, and change is happening in the region. Equipping migrant workers and their families with correct, relevant, and updated information about overseas work continues to be a priority, as it is a necessity. After all, working abroad is a big step for all migrant workers to work towards their dreams and goals for better lives. The Journey to a Better Life. Reminders for a safe migration experience with decent working conditions in ASEAN. Reminder 1, Part 1. Settle in properly. To settle in, it is important to pay adequate attention to your pre-departure orientation and get information on arrival procedures, such as what are the immigration or border control procedures? Are there any permits that you need to apply for once you arrive? What required medical checkups, COVID-19 tests, and quarantine protocols will you undergo? Who will you meet at the terminal? Where will you be taken upon arrival and by whom? Your recruitment agency or direct employer should give this information to you. Share everything you have learned from the pre-departure orientation, including your arrival procedure, with your family, so they are aware of your whereabouts. Before going and leaving the terminal premises, double-check your belongings. Count the number of luggage that you have. Make sure they are locked and have a tag with your name, contact details, or any markings that you can easily identify. Keep your legal documents safe and accessible. Ensure that all your legal documents are kept safe before your departure. Prepare a sturdy or plastic case where you can place the original and photocopies of your passport, employment contract, ticket, temporary entry permit, medical certificate, and other essential documents. You can also save soft copies of your documents on your mobile phone for more convenient safekeeping. Your legal documents may be constantly checked at the terminal or borders by authorities. It is important to keep your documents easily accessible to you anytime. As part of the verification procedure, immigration authorities at country borders might ask you several questions. Answer truthfully and politely. If an official asks to search you, you have the right to ask the purpose of the search and be given an explanation in the language that you understand. You also have the right to request an official of the same gender to perform the search. Ask authorities for assistance. If you are lost or faced with any problem, it is best to ask terminal or border officials for help. They might be able to provide you with the necessary information that you need, such as missing or damaged baggage, maps, location of money changers, payphone, and transportation stops. Do not trust strangers. No matter how friendly they seem, do not give away any of your personal details or belongings, nor accept anything or any favor. You can politely say, "I'm sorry, but I cannot help you." Reminder 1, Part 2. Once you arrive at your new home. While working abroad, some workers pay for their house and food. Others live in dormitories provided by their employers, while domestic workers and the like live at the residence of their employer. Information about your lodging, if not already mandated by law, can be found in your employment contract. Be sure to discuss this with your recruiter or direct employer prior to your departure. As a migrant worker, you are strongly encouraged to have safe and proper accommodation. You should have a private space where you can sleep properly and can safely keep all your important belongings. Read carefully and thoroughly all documents your employer will ask you to sign. If you have to sign a new contract or the English version of your signed contract, check if it is the same as the one you signed on before flying. If you need clarity or support with language, do not hesitate to ask your recruiter, employer, or your embassy for help in translation. Ensure that you will be given a copy of the contract that includes signatures from you and your employer. When a copy of the contract is not given to you, report to the relevant authorities of your country of work and/or seek assistance from your embassy. Attend the post-arrival orientation seminar. These may be organized by the government of the country of destination, employer, various embassies, consulates, trade unions, and CSOs or NGOs for migrant workers. This training usually covers a range of significant topics such as cultural orientation, workers' rights and obligations, information about the transportation routes, the location of essential establishments like banks, remittance centers, markets, hospitals, police stations, the office of your embassy, and many more. During post-arrival orientation, you can raise your questions or concerns about your situation at work. Meet other migrant workers, including those from your home country. share experiences, and get advice and support from others who are in similar situation. Keep your legal documents with you. Migrant workers in ASEAN have the right to keep their legal documents, such as passport, employment contract, residence, and/or work permits, and ATM cards with them. Some countries in ASEAN allow the employers to collect their workers' legal documents for safekeeping. But migrant workers must still have access to these 24/7. Any person who violates this will be liable to a fine and imprisonment. If your employer or recruitment agent requests for it, calmly ask the purpose and refrain from giving the original passport and other official documents such as work permit, indicating your regular status in the country of destination. Reminder 2. Remember your rights and responsibilities as a migrant worker. To work in any country in the ASEAN, you must have valid supporting documents such as an employment contract. This document is a prerequisite to process the work permit or entry visa that will allow you to enter and work legally abroad. There are many kinds of work or employment permits in ASEAN. Some are for highly skilled workers. Others are for workers in elementary occupations. In some countries, a work permit is issued upon arrival at the country of destination. The majority also requires a special entry visa or entry permit issued only upon arrival. In some countries of destination, however, a work permit is issued a couple of days after your arrival. In some permits, a migrant worker can only work for a specific job and sector, while some cannot switch employer, sector, nor occupation. Know the laws and regulations of your country of work, especially about the conditions of your work permit. You must strictly follow these conditions. Post-arrival medical examination. Post-arrival medical examination is another obligation you must fulfill once you are deployed abroad. A few days or weeks upon arrival in the country of destination, you will undergo the mandatory medical tests at accredited or recognized health institutions. All medical test results need to be kept confidential unless it is mandated by the law to be shared. In some countries of destination, women migrant workers are required to undergo regular medical examinations, which include pregnancy tests. Some countries in ASEAN conduct these health checks every 6 months, annually, every 2 years, or every renewal of work permit. If you fail to pass these medical checks, the work permit will be cancelled, which will result in your immediate return to your origin country. Clarify with your recruiter or direct employer who will pay for the costs and whether this will be deducted from your salary. As a documented migrant worker, you can also enjoy social and health, judicial, and civil rights while you are in the country of destination. Social and health rights. Access to health and social services. If you sustain work-related injuries or illnesses, or worst, permanent disability, you have the right to access healthcare facilities and services of repatriation of the body in case of death. In some countries, employers are required to buy and maintain insurance to provide medical, health care, permanent disability, accident, and death coverage for their workers. Other countries employing domestic workers have the employers directly responsible for the medical treatment and compensation in the event of death and permanent disability during the stay of their workers. Judicial rights. Access to justice systems. When working abroad, you also have the right to have fair treatment and protection in criminal courts. If you become involved in a crime, you may ask for the free legal assistance provided by your embassy, CSOs, or NGOs near you. Civil rights. Take part in the civil processes. Even though you as a migrant worker are not citizens of the country where you work, you have civil rights or rights to have a life where you are respected. However, there are limitations to these depending on the law and regulations of the destination countries. Migrant workers in some ASEAN countries are allowed to join or form trade unions and other associations under specific conditions. The chance to bring your family abroad is limited to highly skilled workers only. On the other hand, you cannot become a citizen or a resident in your country of work. When you are terminated from work or the work permit is cancelled, some countries would give 2 weeks up to 1 month for you to prepare to leave the country. In other ASEAN member states, you will be required to immediately return to your country of origin. Learn the law on the return of migrant workers in your country of destination. You as a migrant worker are expected to follow the laws and regulations at work and of the country of destination. Remember that serious offenses committed while you are working abroad will not only put you in jail and pay heavy fines, but you can also be deported and never be allowed to enter the country anymore. Reminder 3. Where and how to get help. Once abroad, migrant workers like you may encounter problems, violence, harassment, abuses, or forced labor. The violations are often worse for unregulated work sectors and worst for undocumented or irregular migrant workers. If this happens or right before the situation worsens, ask for help. There are people to guide and protect you. For non-emergency concerns, you may reach out first to your recruitment agency or your embassy. They are supposed to be the first ones to handle the concerns of their deployed workers. For emergencies or when your health and safety are threatened, report to the nearest police station, hospital, embassy, CSO, or NGO whenever possible. They will help inform your embassy about your situation. Make sure to have a copy of the emergency hotlines and shelters, including contact numbers of your recruitment agency, home country embassy, CSOs or NGOs, government offices concerned about migrant workers, police and hospitals, and hotline for victims of violence. Reminder 4. Plan your return and prepare for your reintegration. When migrant workers return to their country of origin, they bring back new skills and knowledge, international work experience, and possible capital to start a profitable business. Get in touch with your labor department or CSOs or NGOs before leaving your country and while serving your contract abroad for guidance on the available reintegration programs back home. Governments, CSOs, NGOs, or private training providers have created skills enhancement, vocational, entrepreneurial trainings for returning migrant workers and their families. Setting aside money for savings is highly encouraged for you and your family. Remember, do not send all your salary back to your family. Keep enough money for yourself and for your own savings. Once you are abroad, Implement the financial plans you have created with your family. Choose the safest method possible to save through banks, microfinance institutions, cooperatives or credit unions, and many others in the country of destination. For guidance, you can visit the website of Saver Asia to find the cheapest rates for sending your hard-earned salary home and money-saving options. You and your family can also attend financial literacy seminars organized by your embassy or NGOs or CSOs near you before flying to the country of destination. Reminder 5. Take care of yourself. Working abroad is a life-changing opportunity, but it can also be challenging. Inevitably, you may experience isolation, loneliness, boredom, as well as stress and conflict not only at work, but also in missing your family. But you can cope and overcome these struggles. Simply remember, take care. T. Take on healthy working habits, such as having focus when it is work time, so that you can enjoy and be free from worry during your rest time. Having focus at work also enhances your safety from workplace accidents. A. Avoid breaking the laws of your destination country. Be aware of the laws and regulations of the country where you work. Refrain from involving yourself into fights and gambling. K. Keep doing hobbies that you enjoy or try new ones. As written in the employment contract, weekly days off and/or vacation and sick leaves are among the benefits that you should have. Use this time to relax and keep doing the hobbies that you enjoy or try new ones. You can also take up vocational and upgrading trainings provided by CSOs or NGOs or private providers in your countries of destination. E. Exercise care for yourself. Eat healthy meals, drink enough water, and get enough sleep too. Also remember to adopt safe sex methods. Exercise care for your physical, emotional, mental, sexual, and reproductive health to avoid any regret in the end. C. Clean your surroundings and maintain self-hygiene. With the COVID-19 pandemic still threatening everyone's safety, keeping yourself clean and strictly following health protocols at all times protect you and your co-workers. A. Advise your family members to also exercise their duties of care and not to rely on you at all times for their needs and emergencies. Your family members should also be empowered to be able to take care of themselves while you are working abroad. This way, you as a migrant worker can also focus on your work and be at peace. R. Reach out to a trained counselor when your thoughts and emotions are beyond what you can bear. Remember, your mental wellness is as important as your physical well-being. Communicate with your family and friends at work if you feel that it will help. You can also participate in your embassy or consular events, volunteer at a local organization, or take part in social activities organized by CSOs or NGOs to rest your mind away from work and problems once in a while. E. Lastly, embrace the new design of your life, one step, one change at a time. You will find that each day will be a different experience, and if things don't go the way you have planned it, or when you find yourself in an abusive situation, call for help. You have your family, your friends, and helplines to guide you and be by your side. Reminder 6. Understand why you should choose safe and fair migration. Ensuring safe and fair migration with a decent work environment for everyone, including women migrant workers, has been the aim of the efforts of member states in ASEAN. With all stakeholders, including migrant workers doing their share, realizing that dream is possible. We are now seeing it happen.
Saya pergi ke Singapura awal tahun 1999. Satu ketika waktu itu saya lulus dari SMA, tidak bisa melanjutkan ke perguruan tinggi karena di waktu itu, tahun itu adalah awal krisis moneter yang ada di Indonesia. Kemudian saya termotivasi dari anggota keluarga yang tentunya ada beberapa yang di luar negeri. Saya berproses ke Singapura secara legal sesuai dengan aturan pemerintah, dengan dokumen-dokumen resmi, juga melalui PJTKI resmi yang sebaiknya semua warga Indonesia itu pergi dengan cara-cara yang dilegalkan pemerintah supaya kita juga terlindungi.
Kami kebetulan waktu itu kehidupan di sini sangat susah. Jadi ada seorang kami punya teman nelpon untuk berangkat ke Malaysia untuk bantu-bantu bikin rumah bangunan. Kami pergilah ke sana untuk mencari nafkah lebih. Kami bekerja di Malaysia itu sesuai dengan paspor yang kami. Paspor turis kami waktu itu 28 hari. 28 hari kami habis, untuk paspor habis, untuk turis kami pulang. Kembali di sini sampai 1 minggu berangkat lagi untuk ngecap paspor lagi. Menanyakan, pertanyaan mau kemana? Kami ke pakcik kami, ke saudara kami. Itu. Kalau ada polis, lari ke hutan kami, bersembunyi lah sampai. Kami susah untuk mengurus visa itu, Bu. Makanya kami yang lebih enak pakai paspor asli, kerjanya ilegal. Kami mengurus visa susah. Kalau tidak resmi, tak mau kembali lagi lah. Kalau resmi mau.
I work in domestic worker in one family. I work there almost 2 months. They abuse my mental. So many things they do to me there. From morning 4:30 until 11. So no rest. Not enough sleep. The food not enough too. And they always told me, you cannot go out. Yes, complain too, but they don't hurt about my complaining. So I think I must run away. I jump to the rubbish because the inside have the rubbish hole. I unconscious so long, maybe 1 week because I'm already in hospital after that. I learned so many things from my experience. Nasihat untuk pekerja migran Indonesia adalah mencari informasi apakah ini ilegal atau tidak? Pekerjaan di sana itu risikonya seperti apa?
Pinaka-importante po for someone who wants to work abroad is to be prepared in everything. Kapag alam mong illegal, huwag ka nang tumuloy. Kapag hindi binigay yung passport mo, complain. Maraming pwedeng puntahan. Pumunta ka sa POEA, pumunta ka sa OWA. We go to NGOs, we go to like Philippine Embassy, we go to MOM. And then, yung lakas ng loob na gawin lahat ito. Kasi maraming natatakot, parang okay lang, sige, basta makaalis na lang. Don't do that. Kasi pagdating dito, mahihirapan ka talaga.
Now my employer is 2 kids, very good for me already until now. Now I keep by myself. Second house is almost 5 years. I have sister CC, the office. People want to go the class, they register. A lot of people, the employer don't give salary. They don't want to buy for their food. Then some employer don't give off day, so very difficult to them. So I asked them, if salary, you can talk to the agency first. After that, you talk to your employer. If not okay, then you call MOM.
I asked my employer to send me home, but they not allow me to go home. And because of that, I go to MOM. to report my employer. I remember the officer name is Christina. She interviewed me, what happened to me, and after that I say I just want to go home, go back to my Indonesia, my village. I like when the migrant workers, they come to me, and because I experienced before, you see, I know how they feel when they have trouble. I know how it feels. So I'm happy when we helping the migrant workers and they can get their rights, they can have hope again.
Kasus-kasus yang umum ya. Paling pertama perdagangan orang. Yang kedua adalah soal migran-migran yang bermasalah, undocumented. Jadi ini persoalan sebenarnya dua hal yang sebenarnya amat sangat saling bersinggungan ya, dua hal. Mereka yang menjadi migran bermasalah bisa saja menjadi korban perdagangan orang, atau mereka jadi korban perdagangan orang, tapi perdagangan orang juga adalah sebenarnya ada migran-migran, para pekerja migran yang bermasalah. Ini persoalan yang seringkali kita hadapi, terutama di lintasan daerah Asia Tenggara ya. Pelayanan kita sebenarnya sederhana, ada dua, ada soal animasi yang berbentuk sosialisasi, kampanye dan sebagainya. Dan yang kedua adalah soal advokasi, bagaimana mendampingi korban, menemani mereka sampai nanti reintegrasi ya, untuk mereka kembali ke tempat mereka masing-masing. Jadi perlu kesadaran pemerintah, ketegasan juga dan keberanian untuk melakukan banyak hal melindungi para pekerja migrannya, sehingga ketika ada MOU dengan negara lain juga akhirnya memberikan penghormatan kepada negara kita ya, karena sistem kita yang bagus dan sistem kita yang tidak bisa disusupi dengan hal-hal yang mafia-mafia, sehingga perlindungan itu bisa dilaksanakan.
At the start of the recruitment, we are always transparent to our applicants. During our preliminary interview with them, we have to lay down everything as to what expenses are expected from them and what expenses are expected from the employer for them. We see to it that really there is an existing jobs once they arrive in the country of destination. And we see to it that the salaries and other benefits are stated in the contract. And it's the one approved by PWA. You are a good recruitment agency because you provide higher salary for our OFWs.
This industry could be further improved. One of it is then looking into the well-being of migrant domestic workers and improving the whole recruitment process. When migrant domestic workers leave their countries, most of them leave for the first time, and there are a lot of anxieties that they feel. Perhaps as an employment agency, more can be done to assure them, to assure their family members as well. You know, they are coming here to get a job, to get a better future, and to earn perhaps also a better quality of life. We have organized training programs, and we will be organizing training programs for our migrant domestic workers so that when they complete their roles in Singapore as a migrant domestic worker, they're able to return home, contribute, and also provide for their families.
Nah, umumnya ketika seseorang itu memang mau berencana untuk memilih jalur non-prosedural dan kebetulan kita melakukan kegiatan on the spot, ketahuan seperti itu, biasanya mereka kita sosialisasi. Kemudian mereka dideportasi seperti itu, dan peran pemerintah di sini adalah mensosialisasikan agar mereka tidak terulang lagi kegiatan pemberangkatan secara ilegal. Dan orang yang memang membawa mereka, tekongnya itu baru yang kita tindak lanjuti lebih lanjut seperti itu.
Ketika Anda mau berangkat bekerja ke luar negeri, penuhi seluruh syaratnya, kemudian dapatkan informasi dari dinas yang membidangi ketenagakerjaan, kemudian ikuti dan bersabar mengikuti proses. Ketika tahapan itu seluruhnya kita ikuti, kita yakin perlindungan selama Anda bekerja di luar negeri itu akan tercapai secara maksimal. Dan kepada stakeholder yang lain juga, mari kita sama-sama bekerja sama untuk melakukan hal-hal yang terbaik, terutama dalam hal pencegahan penempatan dan prosedural PMI. sampai kepada penegakan hukumnya. Akhirnya seluruh sindikasi penempatan PM unprocedural PM ini sindikasinya bisa kita bongkar dan sampai ke pengadilan.
You can make the most out of your journey abroad and live life with confidence and dignity. You are an empowered migrant worker who is better protected and capable of making informed decisions. As one ASEAN, let us continue to work together in ensuring safe and fair migration with a decent work environment, a reality for everyone.